In every professional caricature artist's life, when he gets into a place where he's drawing pictures, whether on the street, at a party, or at a corporate event, and things are just moving, things are just so smooth in the way that he's drawing, he gets into a groove, if you know what I mean. He gets into a groove where everything is just real smooth. That's the time to watch it and to put the brakes on when you start getting into a groove. You'll know what I mean in a moment. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. I started to say monster consultant because I'm thinking about something else. I'll talk to you about that in a moment, okay? Hold on 1 second. You're looking at the ceiling now because, well, my studio is just too banged up to put that on camera, and I'm ashamed. So just hang on, and I'll be right back. I'll be back in a moment. Okay? So don't have any elevator music going on, so you can't enjoy that. But trust me, I think this is worth it. Here it comes. All right. Thank you for that brief interruption. Like I started to say, this is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature. And I started to say, your creative caricature monster consultant. This is a character of mine that appears on one of my videos called Bullethead Zombie Z. You can find this somewhere on the channel, a couple of films on him. But I am giving away. That's right, I'm giving away. I'm giving away until Halloween pictures, postcards of this character that I created, Bullethead Zombie Z. And he has a story behind why he looks like this, which I think I also made a film about that you can find on this channel. Zombie caricatures, I first started practicing them when I came across an excellent caricature artist by the name of, I believe it's Tim Gardiner. I know his last name is Gardiner. Now listen, if you want one of these free pictures, the supply is limited and they're being given away. That means free, the magic word free. They're being given away free. And all you have to do is email me. Email me at cartoons4u2 at AOL.com. That's cartoons, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2 at AOL.com. Limited time, put in the subject line, Bullethead Zombie Z caricature. Okay? These are available while supplies last, and you only got a week. So if you really want one, get going. It will be signed by yours truly, and hey, maybe it'll be worth millions one day. Okay, that's it for the commercial. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. I'm not going to announce it again, though. That caricature is a 5x7, I believe, postcard. That I printed up. It is glossy. Okay, looks good. Unique caricature by a famous artist. That would be me. But I digress. Okay, we was talking about getting into a groove and why that's a danger zone for you. Okay? When you get into a groove, and this is my definition, I'm not going by the standard one, because getting in a groove just seems to be a good thing. I think for caricature, it's not so good, not such a good thing if you allow this one thing to happen. Okay? It's this. There are times that you might notice, and I'm thinking of one artist in particular who doesn't even know he's in a group, where your pictures, you just start printing them out. You just start drawing them out extra fast, and you think it's because you're getting better and more familiar with faces. But the reality is that you became locked into a specific way of doing it that makes it easy for you. And after a while, your features on your caricatures start to look the same, with only a few minor details like a beard or a hat. But for the most part, the things that make up a human face, eyes, nose, lips, they begin to look the same. The eyes look the same. They have the same shape. They have the same width apart. The eyebrows, same width, similar shape. And the same way goes for the nose or the ears or any other feature on the face. What happens is that you just start drawing people like anybody else you've always drawn. More, rather, a generic picture of a face and a person. Oh, yeah, there'll be minor details that you'll get, like a beard, a hat, or the way the hair is styled. But mostly for the most part, yeah. Mostly for the most part, the face, the structure of the face will look the same. Now, why does that happen? Why does that happen? I think it happens sometimes because of pressure. You cannot believe the unbelievable pressure it takes to have been paid handsomely by someone to draw a party, and you look out and there's like a sea of people happily waiting to be drawn by you. Okay, you get nervous. You don't think that you're going to finish anybody. You think that your caricatures are going to be hated. It happens, not all the time, but you might panic. And so you go into survival mode. You got to get this done. And you know that you draw better on your worst day than everybody in that crowd draws on their best day. And so you start to get the crowd moving, to get the crowd out of your chair. You start doing a generic caricature. And to your surprise, the people like it. And so you do another one, and they like it, another one, and another one. And then you notice that aside from the things that I pointed out, beards, or rather, let's just say facial hair, hats, the way the hair is combed, aside from little things like that and hair color, you can get away with doing generic caricatures because it's easier and you can do more people. And so you start going into that generic style of doing it. And I've noticed that this style exists with a lot of professional artists, especially, and I might get some of these guys mad, and I'm not sorry, I got to put a disclaimer. Guys, I am not saying this about all of you, okay? There are individuals who are different, but for the most part, when I see party caricatures, when I see caricatures at theme parks, there's a kind of almost generic style that everybody fits into. And you see some artists doing it a lot. You see others, thank God, who are not doing it at all, but that's what exists. Now, how can you break out of that? Well, I think the problem that you do that, the problem why you do that is for what I've said before. You get stuck with a large crowd and you just got to crank it out. And then you realize that people will go for it. And so it just becomes a default tool of yours that you start using more and more until you're just using it all the time. I did it. I'm not above it. I did it. That's why I can speak on it. So I even did a cruel experiment on a friend of mine one time. We were at a park. We were at an outdoor event, and he was saying that he could do caricatures just as good as I could. And he was an artist. He was good. He went to visual arts and everything, and I told him, well, doing this kind of artwork is different than doing comic books like he was used to. And so I put him down in a chair next to me, and I said, I want you to, all right, I'm going to give you a line, and I'm going to take this line. So start drawing all the people that come up to you, and at the end, we'll see what happens. So what started to happen after I'd say about 10 minutes in, he started drawing people generically, of course. His cartoons and caricatures began to look the same. People on his line would end up on my line to be redrawn. And at the end of the gig, he said, wow, I never knew it was this hard. Okay, so this is what happens. But why does that happen and how you can fix it? Okay, it's just a simple matter of focus. and concentration. And I think I mentioned this in an earlier post. It's a challenging thing to do caricature because you have to look at a person. You have to really look at them. And at the same time, keep them engaged. Most of the time, when we intently look at people, we're either going to fight or we're going to make love. So when you're intensely looking at a person, it becomes uncomfortable for both of you. But you have to make it comfortable by distracting them, by speaking to them. But there's no getting away from looking at them. And here's how you can make that look more comfortable. I don't have any other way to put this. You have to look at there are three things that you have to look at. I say, let's do this. These are three important points that will help your caricatures look more individual. Okay, it's the ratio between the hairline, the space, and the first eyebrows. Okay? There's no such thing as a second eyebrow. The space between the hairline where it begins and where eyebrow begins. That's going to give you the length of the forehead. Okay? If you find that the forehead looks long, it takes a long time to get down to the eyebrows, then you draw that forehead slightly longer, or maybe very long. If it seems to be short, so it seems to be running into, the eyebrows, then you draw it shorter. If it seems like it's in between, you do your best guess. Okay? That's the first relationship I call. The second relationship is between the nose, bottom of the nose, and the top lip. Some people have a surprising amount of space when you really look at that between that area. I call it the monkey lip, especially especially from the 3/4. Okay, some people it literally juts out. I remember George Bush had a quote unquote monkey lip. At any rate, you look at the space between the bottom of the nose and the top lip. Is it longer? Is it shorter? Is it somewhere in the middle? You look at that relationship is very important because you're doing proportions now to get out of that bad habit of making all of your caricatures look the same. Okay? And so you determine whether it's longer, whether it's shorter, and draw appropriately. The third thing, and this can get a little hard with a beard, but you can include the beard as a kind of a chin, quotation marks. You look at the bottom lip and the chin. Is it longer? Is it long? Draw it longer. Is it short? Draw it shorter. If it's medium, you kind of do your best guess of how you're going to draw that. And that's one way to make the caricatures look different. Notice also with the eyes, okay? Eyes do three things. They slant down, right? They go across straight, or they go slightly upward. And this requires some looking on the part of you, okay? Because some people is very, very pronounced, the shape of the eyes, where it's going straight across, whether it's slanting slightly downward or slanting slightly upward. There are variations of that position rather, and you have to determine by looking objectively what that is. Now, I know this is taking a long time to say it, but believe me, once you get into the habit of looking for these things, you're going to do it in a flash. I guarantee it, okay? Also, one thing with the space that you want to look at is is this little triangle. Eyebrow to eyebrow, eyebrow to nose, to tip of the nose and back up again. You'll notice when you really isolate that area, the bottom of that triangle is going to be very short, or it's going to be very long, or somewhere in the middle, and you're going to make that determination. Also, the bottom of that triangle, if you look at my nose and you look at the way the nose flares, okay, you can include that in your assessment. What did your nostrils do? Did they flare out? Did they flare across? Did they somehow stay in the middle? Notice subtle differences like that. with the shape of the eyes. One eye may be slightly bigger than mine, like mine, slightly bigger. You know, eyes may come to the center slightly. Mine does that. Okay. You might notice that the eyeball, how does it rest inside of the eye? Do you see any white at the bottom? With some people, it's subtle, but it's there. With other people, it's very pronounced, and so on and so on. When you start looking at the face, start asking in your mind questions. Did the eyes slant up or down? Is that triangle big or small? How about the eyes on the face itself? Are the eyes closer into the nose? Or is it slightly farther apart on the face, further from the nose? All of these are important for discovering that individuality in the face. And that's what you want. Is the top lip bigger than the bottom lip? Do people have no lips, bird lips, okay, burial lip, okay? Is the bottom lip more pronounced than the upper lip? Or are both lips just like Jay-Z's or Mick Jagger's? You make that determination by observing. And even if you get one thing right on that list, then the person will recognize, no matter what style you draw the caricature in, if you pay attention to any one or all of those features and draw that on your caricature, you're going to say goodbye to that generic caricature drawing face, and the person will recognize it as them. And also, and the good part about it is that other people will recognize the drawing as the person. And that's really, really what you want, because a caricature is a representation, no matter what style you go with, a representation of a person's face. I believe the dictionary word for it, caricature, is a loaded portrait. At least that's the old definition of it. And you want your portraits to be packed with power. So beware when you get into a groove. You might just be getting into this generic caricature phase. Well, that's it. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature monster consultant. Just remember, check out the videos on Bullethead Zombie Zed's character. It's definitely on this channel, and order yours while time lasts. Time is actually going to last. It's kind of... Never mind. Order yours before time runs out. Okay, do that. All right? Just email me at cartoonsforyou2@aol.com. That's cartoons, the letter 4, Let's start again. Cartoons for you two. That's cartoons, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2 at AOL.com. Put in the subject line, Bullethead Zombie Z, and I will get back to you on what you need to do next. Okay, I'm going to sign out again. This is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. Thanks for tuning in to this segment. And we're out.